Okay, this is take two. I fumbled through the whole first one, so hopefully I don't fumble through this one. This week's book is called Shoeless Joe. It's based off of, the movie Field of Dreams is based off of this book. But they had to change it to Field of Dreams because it came out at the same time as 8 Men Out came out, which is the story of the Black Sox scandal, and that people didn't want it to be confused with one or the other. So Field of Dreams is what it became. But I chose this one because recently the Field of Dreams is back in the news. You know, they had just had the Field of Dreams games, the Phillies Twins. Phillies destroyed my Twinkie 7-1 again. But what's more disappointing is the cheapest tickets cost to get to the game were $550+ and some of them were over $4,000. So you combine that with the ridiculous cost of youth sports pushing out lower income families and making sports less accessible and therefore less popular with more and more families. And with the impending MLB strike, that's another conversation for another podcast. So we'll get into that differently. But also, a fan of my book, Until the Last Out, Garrett Beck, reached out and talked about the Field of Dreams. I thought, what a better time to talk about this book that I read a while ago. So most people know the movie Field of Dreams. A farmer hears a mysterious voice, builds a baseball field in the middle of his Iowa cornfield. Despite all the misgivings of the town, Shoeless Joe Jackson shows up, and eventually Kevin Costner makes half the country cry by asking his dad for one last catch. Now, what I didn't fully appreciate until reading the book, WP Kinsella's Shoeless Joe, is that underneath all of the magic and baseball mythology, this has always been a story about father and son, when you boil it down. And the book, you feel that father-son connection much more deeply than the movie. Ray Kinsella's chasing the ghost through history, Shoeless Joe, forgotten ball players, lost piece of baseball history, but ultimately, he's chasing something much more personal, his father, obviously, right? But the relationship with his father he never got to have. So baseball became the language connecting them. And you get some of that in the movie too, but I love that. That's what sports often become between parents and their kids. We don't always say everything we're feeling to our kids. Sometimes we just have to play a catch, or we sit in the stands and then we talk about the game or the catch because it's just an easier way to talk about things, or we use it as a segue into talk about some of the harder things in life. So that's what gives Shoeless Joe its actual power. The book anyway, and the movie could be too. So if you've seen Field of Dreams, the book's going to surprise you in a different way. The movie streamlines the story quite a bit. And one of the biggest changes is the mysterious writer, Ray Kinsella, the farmer. He goes the writer that Ray goes searching for. In the movie, that's fictional Terrence Mann, played brilliantly by James Earl Jones. But in the book, they're seeking out real author J.D. Salinger, who apparently did not like the book and refused to let the movie use his name in it. So the book also spends more time like wandering through baseball history and mythology and family relationships and just wonderfully strange side stories. I would argue it's a lot less polished than the movie in a lot of ways, but it kind of makes it a dreamlike state where you kind of tangentially move back and forth between different stories and realities. So the movie takes Kinsella's sprawling baseball fantasy and finds its emotional center eventually, obviously the center being father and son. It's probably why the final scene continues to endure in the mythology of baseball. Not Shoeless Joe walking out of the cornfield per se, not because someone built a baseball field where corn should have been, but because eventually Ray gets another chance to do something incredibly simple and ordinary that we take advantage of. He got to play catch with his dad one more time, right? And maybe that's the lesson that I took from Shoeless Joe more than anything. Sometimes things we miss aren't really extraordinary moments. It's the ordinary ones we didn't realize were extraordinary until they were gone. Glove, a baseball, father, a son, and just one more opportunity to have a catch. So if you're into sentimentality like I am, a bit of a romanticist, Shoeless Joe is a book for you. Cheers, everybody.